Now third one, trade payable turnover ratio, opposite of our trade receivables. Here net credit purchases, nothing but our credit purchases from our creditors. Okay. So any purchases on credit, later on we are going to pay. Okay, we are going to pay our creditors. That's what here net credit purchases divided by average trade payables. Okay. Here also how they are going to express number of times. Correct. Okay, it shows the number of times the creditors are turned over in relation to purchases. Okay, how many times? Significance of the creditors. So high turnover ratio. It shows that what? Shorter payment period shows the availability of less credit or early payments. For example, we are giving they are giving the more credit or less credit. Okay, the less credit also you are in a position to pay our creditors. Okay, that's what the idea here. High turnover ratio or shorter payment period shows the availability of less credit or early payment. So you want to pay quickly. That's what every creditor will expect. Correct. That is the calculation part here. Trade payables turnover ratio. Then fourth one. So very important one. Working capital turnover ratio. Here also revenue from operations divided by working capital. That is the formula. Here the expression also number of times. The significance here shows the number of times working capital has been employed in the process of carrying on business. Okay. Saying working capital means nothing but what? Our current assets minus current liabilities. That's what the main significance. Okay. How our capital employed in the process of carrying on the business to get our revenue from operations. So naturally higher the ratio, better the efficiency in the utilization of working capital. Yeah, working capital, current assets minus current liabilities. Okay. Then finally our profitability ratio. So very very important one. So as you know, profitability ratio, the first one is gross profit ratio. So what is the gross profit ratio? Gross profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. Here everything expressed in percentage. All the probability ratio expressed on percentage. What is significance here? Indicates the relationship between gross profit and our net sales. Okay. So higher the ratio, naturally lower the cost of goods sold. Nothing but our cost of production. So we will get more sales, so our cost of production very less. Naturally we will get more profit. Okay, that's what a gross profit ratio indicates here. Okay. Here how to calculate gross profit? What is the meaning of gross profit here? So you can also say revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations. Oh, that's what you will get gross profit easily. Here what is the meaning of cost of revenue from operations? Nothing but our opening inventory plus net purchases. Here what is the meaning of net purchases? Purchases minus purchase return. Then direct expenses you want to add. Then closing inventory. So whatever the inventory you have to exclude here, spare parts and tools. Correct. Then also you can calculate cost of material consumed plus purchase of stock in trade plus changes in inventories of, it may be finished goods or work in progress and stock in trade. That's what the changes. Here what the changes means? Opening and closing of finished goods and work in progress and stock in trade. Okay, that's what here changing inventories of meaning. Then direct expenses. So that's what here cost of revenue from operations you can calculate either way. According to the available information, you can substitute the formula. That's why you should be very careful to calculate cost of revenue from operations. Then the second one, net profit ratio. See here, what's the meaning of net profit ratio? Nothing but net profit after tax divided by revenue from operations into 100. So here, as we discussed earlier, expression here percentage, correct? How to express here percentage? Significance here, it indicates overall efficiency of the business. That's what every businessman, they will mostly aim on more net profit, correct? So here the higher the net profit ratio, so naturally the business is better way. They are keeping the business better way, they maintain the consistency, correct? So net profit after tax, what's the meaning here? Nothing but gross profit. Then we want to add other income. Then we are going to deduct indirect expenses and tax. So you will get net profit after tax. Okay. Then the operating ratio. It's a very, very, very important ratio. So what is the meaning of operating ratio here? The cost of revenue from operations plus you want to add operating expenses divided by revenue from operations into 100. Okay, that's what here numerator, denominator. Accordingly, you can easily memorize. Here also expression percentage. Okay. Our operating ratio expression percentage. Then what is significance here? Assess the operational efficiency of the business. So we can assess the operation, whether how the business going on to meet operating our expenses. It may decline in the operating ratio is better. So less operating ratio because it means higher margin and thus more profit. Okay, that's what our cost of production very less. Naturally, we get more profit. That is the calculation here. Here, what is the meaning of operating expenses? That is very important. It may be employee benefit expenses and you can add depreciation and amortization and you can add other expenses are collectively called operating expenses. Okay, that's why here should be very keep in your mind. Once again, repetition of the our formula, operating ratio, cost of revenue from operations plus operating expenses divided by revenue from operations into 100. Okay. The fourth one, operating profit ratio. So the two ratio definitely have confusion. That's why we should be very careful to memorize the formula. Here, operating profit ratio. Earlier we discussed the operating ratio, correct? So here the word is profit. So naturally operating profit, that's what you numerator, divided by, here also revenue from operations. So basis is our sales into 100. Expression also here percentage. The significance here, naturally the again our determine the operational efficiency of management. Okay, that is the significance here. Why you are preparing operating profit ratio here. Okay, here what is the meaning of operating profit? Nothing but net profit before tax. Then we want to add operating expenses minus non-operating income, or you can other formula gross profit plus operating income minus operating expenses. Here, what is the meaning of operating expenses? Okay, definitely you should know this meaning, correct? So interest on long-term borrowings. That's what one of the non-operating expenses we want to debit, correct? In our profit and loss account. The loss on sale of fixed asset or non-current assets. That's what here non-operating expenses. Similarly, what's the meaning of non-operating income? The interest received on investments. Any investment, you get the interest. Then profit on sale of fixed asset. Here, see, as a loss on sale of fixed asset, according to non-operating expenses, here as a income, profit on sale of fixed asset or non-current asset. That's why here, what's the meaning of non-operating expenses and non-operating income? So nothing not through the business, correct? So it is out. It is not through the business, correct? That's why it is called non-operating. And non-operating expenses and non-operating income. Okay, then so finally the last formula for the profitability ratio, return on investment, or also called return on capital employed. Okay, the profit before interest, tax and dividend, that's our numerator, divided by capital employed into 100. Here the also expression is percentage. Significance here what? Assess the overall performance of the enterprise, correct? So whatever the money invested, whether business is going on smooth way, we get profit or not. So all the important assessment you will get it here. It measures how efficiently the resources entrusted and to the business are used. Utilization of resources, everything here, calculation here. Okay. Here what's the meaning of capital employed? How you are going to calculate? You should be very careful here. It may be liabilities approach or assets approach. So both way you can calculate according to our given problem. Sometimes when they are giving for the liability side information like share capital, reserves and surplus, and long-term borrowings and long-term provisions, so you can work it out based upon liabilities approach. Suppose they will give you non-current assets like tangible and intangible assets, then non-current investments, then long-term loans and advances, then working capital, nothing but our current assets minus current liabilities. We can calculate based upon assets approach. That's why either it may be liabilities approach or assets approach. Here what you are going to do, better you can work out both way, liabilities approach and assets approach for learning purpose. Okay, in main exam, according to information only you can be able to do. Okay, here you are going to practice how to practice based upon liabilities approach and assets approach. That is very important. Okay, that's what you discussed profitability ratio here. So finally, I hope that you discussed upon the summary of the accounting ratios here for our next week revisions. So read carefully the questions always before attend the answer. Okay, so calculate your time, planning, everything. So accordingly, you please work out all your problems and worksheets. Okay, all the best for your revisions. Okay, thank you very much.